welcome back to Pirate Adventures. Where we last left off, our dear pirates defeated a goddess in her arising form, destroying the artifacts and keeping her banished to the end of her days. Attempting to escape this, they managed to narrowly avoid the prison of eternity via different magical means. At this eventual point, we found Elizora making a quick escape to avoid her betrayal catching up with her, and the others in some kind of teleportation magic transporting to slightly different locations, with Tim and Vaela landing on the ship, and Alarias landing on a beach in the sun, with a cabin not far from him. And on this small island, he has absolutely no clue where he is. I would like to return immediately to Alarias. So what are you doing? Just landed. You have no idea where you are. There is a small cabin. What would you like to do?
He's slightly freaking out and panicking. He's going to investigate the hut, obviously. It's the only thing on the island, the only thing that he can really see.
There's
He
some
doesn't
palm
recognise
trees.
anything.
It's a small island, probably like 100 foot. It's one of those shallow, sort of beachy islands. You kind of think if it was high tide, it may not even be here.
Okay. Yeah, he's going to investigate the hut. Still with his daughter in his mind, so he's thinking, he's praying. What's going to be behind the door?
You get to the door. Do you open it, knock, burst in, kick it down? What'd you do?
Is there any sign of life? I think he's just going to open it.
Do me a perception check.
Alright, 16.
16. You hear humming. Humming you've heard long ago. Like a song that gets stuck in your head. It's a very feminine voice doing the humming. Almost sounds like a song you would sing to a child. And there is just, you kind of hear this coming through the door.
Yeah, he's going in. He's opening that door.
And at that point, you look in and just these books just fall onto the ground as the girl before you, your daughter, not a child, not quite, you would say, a mature adult, somewhere in between. In her elvish years, it's not particularly easy to tell. She wears round glasses, has a short cut on her hair. She has the same blonde hair as you, but her features and her eyes are her mother's. She wears a brownish robe. Nothing is particularly fashionable, nor is it an attempt at anything that is even cozy or comfortable. It is simply just functional. She just stares at you for a little while. No, this is not a dream. Father?
You recognise me? It's me.
She
Vanilla.
runs into you, hugging you.
He starts welling up, tears rolling down his face.
And I'd say you probably have like a day or two or probably that amount of time together before you may need to necessarily think about getting out of the island. Maybe have a little think of what that montage looks like while we cut back to the other two, as you land on the vessel. The crew come around to you. A blast! Captain, are you okay? There's no-eyed Bill. Comes down to your aid.
Well, a little bit worse for wear, but we managed to do it. Is everyone... Where is it? Where's Alarias?
Elena comes up. He was with you. Is he gone? Or
Oh no, he was alive. He left with us.
she kind of helped
guess-
Tim up?
I guess he was... I don't know. Well, we haven't got time for that at the moment. I'm sure Alarias will find his way to us. We need to... Are we still in the actual sea, by the way?
Yes.
Well, we need to get out of here. And back to Flood.
Right.
Could you
Don't
remind me
overdo
what
it,
happened to? Sorry to interrupt. What happened to Geneptia at the end of last session?
So, she was writhing in her chains, angry, like a toddler in a tantrum, but on a Titan level. But she was just angrily smashing at everything that was in her cage.
So
But
we've
it is still her
effectively
cage.
resealed her in there, but she's definitely not dead.
She's not dead.
Okay.
She is maintained in her banishment,
Okay.
and for all intents and purposes, you have destroyed the one thing you know about that could give her the power to break her chains.
And we didn't see what happened to Cleric, but he got left behind.
You did leave Crescent behind. You did not see what happened to him.
Is his he came with us, didn't he? We don't have his people with us.
He supplied you with some people for the crew, but they are, and he agreed they would be under Vaela's captaincy.
Permanently now.
Well, it looks like it. Well, once we get out of here, I can let you know what all happened. Just let me know if you see Elizora. She is a traitor to the cause. But other than that, we need to get out of here. I'll explain later.
Yes.
Let's get out of here.
The ape woman was a turncoat.
Yes,
Do you
yes, yes.
roll a persuasion, please, Captain Vaela? You will have advantage.
Guidance and help.
Advantage
You will have advantage. And
and guidance.
guidance.
I would
next
have
turn.
I have a plus 11 to this roll, so this might be a bit insane.
I would hope it's good then.
Yeah. 21.
They all just go straight to work. They unfurl the sails, they prepare, and Bill kind of looks around and is just kind of thinking for a minute. Last thing's gone, so how do I do this? Yes, got to focus in. Focus point. Damn, what kind of focus point can I have? Something.
You okay
Captain.
there, Bill? Yes, yes.
I need something
Mm.
from our world to home in on. Some kind of anchor. Don't know if you have anything like that in mind. Blasted
I mean,
Q kind of did the pointing. Now I need something else.
what about what's it called? The wreckage.
Yes. That might bloody do it.
Cool.
Sorry. That might blast it do it. Blast it all. Damn, I need something from the wreckage. Do we have anything from the wreckage?
We don't have any of the coins, do we?
Does
Do
Tim
we
still
have
have his
anything?
venison?
I think we're out of venison. That was my first thought as well, but I'm pretty sure we ate all the venison. Green
we didn't
crystal
really
joy,
get- we didn't
also
really get-
gone.
Yeah, we didn't really get anything.
What
Get
did
Could
anything.
be
Credit,
anything.
Credit gave you a thing to communicate with him with.
Could be a quill, or it could be
Let me look at my inventory.
wood. Some kind of
I've got nothing from the wreckage. I've got stuff
I've
from
got
other
like
places.
I've got like stuff from the
We
hag
could go back to Tortilla.
randomly. I've got like the hag's key, the hag's quill, the eye from the hag, the onyx
don't know
orb.
if you want to go back there, but I could do
No.
that.
You got the
What a
skull,
crystal-
yeah. You got Tim's like family skull, right? That's on.
Yeah,
his-
you got my family
yeah.
skull. You've got my my metal
would-
club from
I could
No,
take
the-
us
the
back to
Aasimar.
Tortilla.
The skull. I think the skull would be Tortilla would be a great place to go. Yeah.
Let's do
And-
Tortilla. I'm meaning to go back there anyway, so yes.
Yeah. We'll do that.
Parrot's on the shoulder, and the parrot's like looking at the skull and and Bill's just looking at you, Tim, and he's just like, I will be very careful with him.
You can
May
use my
I?"
great club instead if you want. That's from Tortilla. Oh no, that was destroyed. I'm with the Cannibal now. Don't worry, it's the skull.
I?
Mm.
He very gingerly grabs the skull. Feels like he gets a little bit too close to Tim and his loincloth. And then takes a moment. It's just he's just still for a little while. Captain, how in a rush are we? Am I like rushedly doing this, or could I take some time to make sure we get there exactly?
How much time do you need?
Well, it depends. If I can have 10 minutes to an hour, that would be amazing. If I have to do
A
this in the next
wide
minute,
range.
Yeah.
quite. Yes, apologies.
It's like he's a
That is
developer.
quite a difference. Hold on. If I can have like half an hour to an hour, I can do this. Bang on point. Yeah,
So,
10 minutes.
What if we pour some slots into him?
oh well, the other thing I was thinking, like, is there any noticeable issue with the astral sea as we can tell? Like, it's not crumbling or nothing's rumbling or anything like that.
Roll a perception check for me.
Guidance?
Yeah. That wasn't a great roll.
If in doubt.
Wow, nice. Yeah. I rolled a 5, so. 5, 14, 18.
Can't see anything wrong with the astral sea.
Okay.
Nothing's collapsing. There's no.
Let's let him start, and I'll do a perception
Yeah.
check too.
Yeah. We'll keep a lookout, because we don't know what, destroying all the artifacts and all this other business is going to cause to this place. Make a start, but if at that half an hour we need to go, we'll probably need just be ready, if at least in that half an hour we need to go somewhere.
I'll prepare to be prepared.
But then you can just add accuracy on the end of that,
Righto.
8 from me for perception, so I'm guessing same.
Same. You don't really notice anything changing about the astral sea. Nothing impacts it.
I would have spoken to Barry about the situation, but he's not around. We have no quartermaster. We have no boatswain. We've kind of lost a lot of our officers in this. There's no one to really catch up on any of it. And what he's going to do? What she's going to do? Actually, she needs to replace the lookout anyway, because it was Elizora's hawk that was up there. So she'll send. Anyone really. I don't think there's many. No, we'll send Artorius up there.
Aye, Captain.
He can be the lookout for now.
I shall use my eyes of steel.
Vaela will probably try and nurse some of her wounds. Probably get Tim to, if Tim's got any more healing, to throw it her way because she's on 18. She's on 18 at the moment.
I'll pop a prayer of healing.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
that's a good idea. Yep.
There you go. That's 24 for you.
Cool.
For some reason, I'm topped off anyway.
That's fine, 42, just in case something happens. But yeah, the main thing at the moment is just to keep lookout, make sure none of the situation changes, make sure Elizora is not approaching the ship or, anything like that, because that's just going to cause more grief than it's worth.
Bill eventually calibrates to a point. Nothing changes about astral sea. I would like you to roll one last perception check, though.
One last perception check, okay.
Can I help?
You can either have advantage or you can both roll individually.
I'll have advantage because I rolled a 2.
Go on.
Isn't that much better?
Guidance as well.
Okay. Why is roll terrible rolls today? I don't think I've actually rolled above a 10. 19.
While you don't see anything change, you do catch sight of a ferryman that you've never seen before. Larger than the others you have. Red skin, black horns, body of flame. In fact, this dreamlike water even steams before they walk upon it, and the chains that they carry pulling across their boat, is in fact like molten, cracked metal.
And is it coming towards us?
It just walks past you, very,
Past us.
very gently, back to where you were before, almost.
Okay.
And then as you see that,
Vaela will. Okay, if something's gonna happen straight after. Okay.
as you see that, done it, and
No.
the
Okay.
portal opens up,
Okay.
and then Bill very gingerly gives back the skull of your brother Tim. It's just like, good memories, that one. Keep hold of him.
Reattach it to my loin.
Loincloth?
Okay, so I mean, are we assuming that? So we at Tortilla now?
Well, the portal has just opened. You're about to sail through. If you want to say anything to that, moving past, you can.
Oh,
but-
say anything at it? No, I want to get out of it. I mean, literally, if that thing hadn't opened, I'd be like, sail in the other direction.
Yeah.
Do not go anywhere near that, because I think, it could be that it's going for Elizora. If it's going back where we were, we don't want to be anywhere near that situation. Because if Elizora made a pact with one ferryman, you'll most likely do it again. So it's just best not to be anywhere near any of that. So yeah, the idea is to go straight through.
You arrive at Tortilla Island.
Excellent.
Is it in ruins?
No, it's prospering really well, actually.
Oh, he left Benjamin there.
Yeah,
Benjamin's
I know.
doing a
Already
great
built a
job,
casino or
actually.
something.
Yeah, could you imagine? He just turned it into, yeah. That'd be
In
hilarious.
fact, Tim, you can see from here, kind of like almost like a Statue of Liberty. They have built like a shrine to Joylif.
Wow.
Right. So the more people live on this island now.
Yeah, there's seemingly more, but there's a shrine at like the top of that great huge cliff top that had
Yeah.
the waterfall coming down. There's a shrine up there now
Which form is
Of-
depicted?
of Joylif. It is, as you see her, it is as like almost a little girl filled
Yeah.
with happiness and joy, and just as her arms are outstretched, these vines, like with grapes and such, like sprout out and come down, and then with the other, these trees are growing with like this great thick, large leafed foliage, and it's just welcoming with like generosity and openness almost as these arms are outstretched, and you can tell even from the distance there is a great big smile on the statue's face. It's one of pure, unadulterated like pleasure and joy.
Nice.
Such bounty.
Mm. Well, let's shore up. We can have our discussion on the island.
Mm.
So yeah, the plan is to just dock, if there's a dock, and
Okay.
disembark
you make-
basically.
Disembark victory party.
As
Kind of.
you begin to disembark, Alarias, I would like to ask you, what's that montage look like with you and your daughter meeting again?
So yeah, well they've never seen each other face to face. So it's a big reunion. I think they just catch up on their life, everything that's happened. Probably similar. As she's a wizard, they're probably there's a lot to catch up on, and with the timekeeper stuff, I think there's similarities, and he wants to understand everything about life and all her capabilities and share and bond. I mean, it's only a day, but it's gonna be a lot of talking.
That's nice. I like that. Just chat, and she'll like, not flusteredly, but almost a little clumsily, she'll like get like pots out. She's got like a kind of like a full setup. She makes like tea and stuff, and sits with you and has these conversations, and shows some of the books she's managed to like recover and save, and some of the stuff that she's written herself. And there's this enormous amount of joy, and I think in seeing you, she realizes she's free, and that hostage situation she was stuck in is now gone. Now that you're here, so you seem to have come alone. How are we getting off this island? I'm not in a rush, obviously, but it's been a while.
Still so much more to catch up on, but this isn't a place where we should stay. We should go. We should go. I don't really know how I got here. I was teleported. Obviously I told you about the big encounter we had. When we were trying to escape, all I could think about was you, and it brought me here to you. But I don't know how we escaped.
Sea of Dreams, like some mysterious ways. I've seen that before. Heard some tales. The magic there, it's slightly less bound by the contracts of our world. Things can happen dangerously, sometimes favorably, but either way, and she puts her hand on top of your hand, you're here now, and whenever we escape, we'll do it together.
I don't doubt that. Our two powers combined. Strong. You don't know how to teleport, do you?
Well, unfortunately, I haven't quite got there yet. I've been practicing, and she shows like all these teleportation circles she's been trying to draw out. But as you look at them, you can see there's a few mismatches, probably, and on top of that, you've seen quite a few teleportation circles in your time, whether you've used them or not, and none of these match. None of these are a match for any teleportation circle you've ever seen. But she's tried very hard, and that's the main thing.
That's all that counts, is the effort you put in.
Thank you.
Work in progress for sure.
Yeah. So as that kind of continues, and you might be there days, nights, weeks, who knows, but you spend that time together really catching up, and you genuinely get the opportunity to tell each other your life story. And the other genuine kindness of it is that you are both fully invested in learning it. There is no lack of interest, there is no boredom. You are immersed in the conversation of your histories together, and it's lovely, really, as you have that time together. Now, if we cut back to Tortle Island, Benjamin greets you all, and he's very happy to see you all. He's very welcoming. Tim, he wants to show you everything they've done on the island, and I mean everything. And there are villages, like houses set up, full agriculture returned. They have even started like building out faux parts of the island, almost extending it with like decking and docks, which they've then attached like netting to grow algae and capture seaweed and have some like seaweed farms and such. Like it has become incredibly bountiful, this island, and he continuously, repeatedly says it is thanks to you going off, fighting on the side of Joyla, mentioning her name. In the rumor mill of time, it has flocked people here, and it has allowed great things to happen.
I'm trying to think, does Vaela remember? Does Vaela know Benjamin?
I think he was
I feel
slightly
like
before.
I feel like last time we were here, Grizel was
Yeah.
the combat.
Yeah, no, Vaela
she
doesn't
knows
know
him.
Benjamin.
We can only thank Benjamin for his valiant dedication, because I think some of us thought we were leaving him here to die. Perhaps I thought that too, but
Twice.
Yeah.
Twice. Twice you thought him left to die. Twice I thought you left him here to die, but the dice decided differently.
Well, I'm
Nice.
glad that the god has smiled down upon this place. You've done well, Benjamin.
Yes, thank you. It's such a pleasure to have you back.
Yes,
This is really hard to do with a Thor throat, actually.
I'll make it my personal mission to take him under my wing and tutor him personally.
He gladly accepts it,
Mm.
and he would happily become a cleric in training under you.
There we go.
Nice. Yeah, like rolling around to the evening, like Vaela would bring the crew together, you know, campfire, whatever, or whatever dwelling there is. Even Krelig's crew members, because obviously, you know, they deserve to know what happened as well. And she will basically basically tell them exactly whatever, you know, everything that happened. You know, the fight with the artifacts themselves, you know, destroying them, you know, using the crystal to keep Joylif bound. Geneptia bound. But she's kind of still there, kind of locked in a prison. Crescent stayed behind so we could escape. And so on and so forth. Kind of all the details, really, with that. But, you know, at the end of the day, it looks like there's nothing else she can do. We have, for all intents and purposes, saved blood from another flood.
So I think that's a general...
Right.
Yeah, there's a general celebration. You see the officers that Credit left behind kind of give a salute when you say he stayed behind. And you get the feeling that they'll probably get off at the next town, like proper town, that they might have some fleet people that they can go to.
Do any disbelief that? Like, because obviously it's taking your word for it.
There's-
It's any of that
I was going to say,
disputed.
there's a few people that are questioning. Can you roll a persuasion?
Help and guidance.
Fine, advantage, and you have guidance.
Good. I'm pouring out wine with my alchemy jug.
That second
Excellent.
Should
roll
give
was
all the
very
advantage
good.
he needs.
Right. 25. Yeah,
25. Yeah, there's a certain amount of like, really? Gosh, amazing. How incredible. And there's like, while the disbelief and shock is there, there's an understanding that you would never lie to them. So they just take that
Oh,
on board.
Obviously, sorry, I forgot to mention it as well, but the Elizora's betrayal and what kind of happened with her as well. That she died technically, but then came back to life, and then at the end sort of poofed away. So, but then she was alive. She was already dead, but then Geneptia made her alive. But now so we don't really know what's happening with Elizora. But yeah, basically, yeah, she will pay for her betrayal. Basically, she is the top of our shit list.
So in that respect, what you don't see, what you never see, and Matt, I ask you the question now, would you like me to orate this, or would you like to orate this of what happens to Elizora?
I'll go. I'll take a stab at it. It's quite fun. So it's slightly abridged, I guess, entertaining Elizora version. So she has to go through the Hall of Horrors once again, as we did the first time, and she ends up with the Davy. I'm guessing. I can't. Just guessing on the name. Davy basically rocks up and is like, "I know you. You got that pistol on your hip. Fuck off." And basically yeets her into the Nine Hells for her to.
Whoa.
For her to become essentially a lesser demon in the many layers of fun. But it's perfect. You could argue it's the perfect area for Elizora because it's scheming just indefinitely, and she could just basically scheme to our heart's content and just grapple up the ranks of the demonhood.
Right.
Wow.
I
Right.
mean, how successful is probably it's beyond the scope of the campaign. But that's generally her. Once she just gets yanked there, it's like, well,
Yeah.
best make the most of it. And that's
So just because she had the pistol.
that's what Arthur said.
Specifically because
Yeah.
she had the pistol, yes.
Okay, well that's going to be a question later. But
It is.
okay.
It is a
Okay.
question
That was
later.
absolutely a viable question later, but yeah, just because she had the pistol.
Wow.
That's
Well, glad we
exactly
never
the
took that
reason.
off her. That's okay. Interesting. Very
So,
interesting. All right.
may
Well, we're
never
never
see
going to
her
see her
again.
then.
Yeah,
But
so
but obviously Vaela doesn't know that
aside
she.
from like realm shenanigans, I guess. the like similar to how we had Ascender, where like they were like demons were doing shenanigans shit. Aside from that ever happening, I doubt you'd see her ever again. But you won't know that.
Yes. So
No.
what you don't see and what you're unaware of. So any search or hunt that you guys plan on doing over the next months or so will fail. You will be unable to retrieve or find
Yeah.
Elizora.
I mean, we wouldn't
Come to
really
nothing.
hunt for her, but if we ever did catch wind that she was alive, because the assumption is that she's dead, because she realistically has no way of getting out of there. But if we've caught wind that there's a green-skinned elf with no pupils and pink hair sort of thing floating around, we would go and investigate that. But yeah, we're not going to actively go out of our way to find her.
Yeah, I mean, if pressed, I'd probably ask Joylif, but I don't know if that's out of her remit.
I don't think she'd be able to have eyes into the Nine Hells.
Good to know.
But then Joylif's saying she doesn't even see or find Elizora.
Even as a corpse.
It's telling in itself in a way.
Could be a lead for you.
Maybe,
Yeah.
but again, it's like, yeah. But
There's a
again, we're
lot
not
of
really
realms.
gonna. We're not
Mm.
gonna do. We don't really care, right? As long as she's not anywhere near us, she might as well be.
Well, for now.
Wow, yeah.
Bittersweet. It's like she's gone, we can't get her revenge, but then yeah, that's it.
Mm.
Alarias would try scrying, but then that wouldn't do anything, so you kind of know.
Hmm.
Maybe.
Yeah.
She's gone.
But then scrying only works in this realm, right? So
Yeah,
she
yeah,
could
yeah.
still be in the
Right,
actual sea. You don't know.
You just know she's not around.
So I say to you all, in the midst of your victory, word soon passes of the Crescent Moon pirates and their defeating of a god, and you very quickly will become renowned for that alone. But I ask you now, each of you, what do your characters do over the next month or so? Everything you guys sent me was all viable.
Okay.
So I'm
Where's
happy for you to
mine?
orate, or I can.
I'll go. I'll do mine then. So, basically, I mean, hers is very straightforward. So, she's basically going to sort of bask in the glory, because obviously all how famous she's about to come as the captain of the crew that killed a god. So she's going to sort of bask in that and milk it for all she can. And yeah, as I said before, if she ever finds out Elizora's alive, she would kill her. But other than that, that's basically what she does. She sort of carries on, basically, because that's the whole way it goes for a pirate. You just kind of do an adventure and then move on to the next adventure. Obviously, doing things like loose ends and stuff, like if the Crelic's crew wanted to go, then obviously doing that. She would obviously, now that Alarias has sort of disappeared, she would try to find wind of where Alarias is somehow. Probably trying to find a magic person that can find him.
And you would be
basically-
able to. You
yeah.
would be able to discover Alarias's location.
Yeah,
Although I would be surprised if Alarias doesn't find you first.
whichever one. But that's what she would be sort of doing in the next. Because obviously I don't know how long it's going to take for Alarias to find us, but we would probably be. I think finding Alarias would be the next main thing we would do. We'll drop off the guys, and then the next thing would be to find Alarias.
Cool. And Alarias?
Yeah, I feel like I should go there. I feel like he would be very much wanted to reunite with the crew. Find somehow to get off the island. Whether it's water breathing, it's fly, it's combining our powers. I don't know how long that will take. But yeah, probably weeks or months. But
Flicking an
Yeah.
idea forth,
Mm.
I could imagine you plucking from a future self that's learned teleportation to just borrow that skill for a day or so.
yeah, temporary, and that will get us out. Yeah. He'd have enough time to be able to pluck from the timeline and kind of
Mhm.
improve that skill. Yeah, he'd do
Your
that. So
daughter, when you do it, by the way, takes notes and furiously and is like, fascinating.
yeah, this is a big thing. He wants to kind of obviously catch up with his daughter, but then also explore the timekeeper possibility. The power's there. Obviously, with her, she's a big part of it. So yeah, that's gonna be a big thing between them. But yeah, reunite with the crew.
Makes sense. I was gonna ask Dom, but actually, I think we kind of already covered Dom's because, Tim's, because Tim wanted to work with Benjamin for Tortle Island, creating the holy utopia it is becoming. So that's kind of covered, and I've already stated that Elizora probably won't be recovered in a hunt specifically.
At least in your
The
lifetimes.
Probably not. So before we get to the next part of your epilogues, I'd like to put forth a couple of scenes. So in the time thereafter, as you have aligned together, there is a moment where you are all spoken to by the gods. It feels like a dream, and it probably is happening while you are dreaming. Each of you join together in this dream to speak to the gods, and in their current presence, these current gods, there is no visage, there is no humanoid figure you can lock down on. There is just voices and light. And you are spoken to that you have done a great service. You are told that Jones's ties, Joneptia's banishment, has been made far more constricting. She will no longer ferry the dead. There will be no escape from her box. That is where she will stay for eternity, until the end of our universe, or time itself. And they state to you that for your efforts, they are willing to grant you a certain gift. Now, they give each of you a choice. They either give you the choice of immortality, the choice of true unending knowledge, and they also give you the choice of choosing which afterlife you end up in for the rest of eternity. While most of the time it is decided by the fates of your actions, they are giving you a choice for yours. Tim, specifically, they will say to you, for your care of the dead, at the end of your days, would you wish to continue to serve?
Now, is that like a good job? Or is that a bad job?
What
We
are
are
the
down-
benefits?
They sort of say to you, we are down a ferryman,
Oh,
and a kind face would be nice to take the dead. And that is a single option for you, Tim, to have this.
I accept. Don't need time to think about that.
Okay.
so we've got Davy Tim's locker.
David Tim's locker, yeah.
Loincloth and all.
Yeah, the loincloth's gonna have its own like
That's
set
not a
of,
friendly
like,
face. That's not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's
like-
like,
you stare at
You
his
don't-
loincloth, it will
you don't-
literally take your
the eyes
soul.
are up
Where
there
the
is
chain
no-
comes
okay,
out.
the eyes are up.
It's a
comes
gate.
out
It's a
of the
gateway to the
loincloth.
9 hells. That there's so much is gonna happen about that loincloth.
Anyway, they say this to you, and they say, you can choose later. You do not have to choose now. We will know when you have made your choice. And obviously the dream fades and that carries on. Now, I would like to ask you all to mention your happy memory in their future, where your character feels like they've hit their peak.
So Vaela's again probably quite boring but unpredictable, but she would like to think that eventually she would become an actual proper member of the Pirate Council, because at the moment she's like an honorary member. So she would obviously have to wait until someone dies, I guess. But
Well,
become an actual one.
when you next go to the wreckage, all of you, you will find in Crelic's retrieval of the artifacts, he in fact killed one of the council members. Halon Koi would not part with their ship.
Right. So
They are no longer with you. They are, in fact, there is, in fact, an opening. Unfortunately, because Crescent is MIA, so to speak, and he had the medallion, or the final piece, you could say, that piece still has not turned up. Whether it is because of where he died, or if he died at all, and is still somewhere, you do not know. But Halon Koi, as the honorary member, and as Halon Koi did not mention anyone in particular, and no one collected their piece after death, they would accept you with open arms as the new council member.
Nice. Yeah, she probably wouldn't have gone to the wreckage straight away, but yeah, eventually. Yeah. So yeah, nice.
And Alarias, a happy memory, goal
Um,
achieved in life.
I think all the happy memories is seeing his daughter again. To be honest, I think that's his whole world, his whole life now, his focus. So, but his goal, I think, is to really evolve and become stronger timekeeper. See what is possible. See if he can become a fully fledged timekeeper. Interact, communicate with the other timekeepers in this realm, and I think he'd want to strive towards protecting the time weave and on the main timeline. But yeah,
So you can seek out the timekeepers. There will be a choice whether to stay with the crew or to go with the timekeepers. What would you decide?
and where his daughter fits in with any
She
of this.
can stay with you either way,
Mm.
so she can kind of honorarily train with you as a timekeeper, or even just live with you as a timekeeper with the timekeepers.
Of course, we have the option of leaving her on the ship. If
Or
wanted to go and
you
do
can
something
leave her on the
else.
ship, or you can stay on the ship with her. Do it that way. Either works. It is really simply a choice of whether Alarias would want to stay with the crew or look into becoming a timekeeper as soon as possible.
I think there's almost this bigger sense of purpose with the timekeeper. Yeah, it's bigger responsibility, but like protecting time weave. I feel like he eats way towards that. I feel like he's accomplished. He's kind of saved the world with the crew. I think he would part ways and become a timekeeper with his daughter by his side.
Yeah, she would probably go with you. In all honesty, she's fascinated by the time magic, and she would like to learn more. And even when it gets to a point where perhaps you become timekeeper and she's learnt a lot, maybe then she might navigate somewhere else. She might not. Who knows? And Tim, a happy memory of your future where you feel your character hits their peak.
So I feel like the happy memory is probably returning to Tortilla and seeing that against all the odds, it has flourished and become more than anybody thought it could be. Certainly more than he thought it could be. I've written a happy memory, and I'm going to read it anyway.
Yep. Read it, yeah.
So, with his powers strengthened, he shepherds the last few remaining souls of his brethren towards the island's holy center. A croaking Kenku voice murmurs in the back of Tim's mind, bringing with it an urge to return the souls to life in cold, misshapen, perverse forms. Tim contemplates his historic goal, and the feeling subsides. Tim has reached the limits of his strength. He will never return his people to meaningful life. He will never level up again. He is at peace. By the light of Joyleth, Tim guides the last few souls onto the next realm, pivoting to the belief that these dead would live on through him and the other living beings that have repopulated the island. Tim prays for the safety and good fortune of his friends and previous crewmates, with hopes that their travels bring them to Tortilla once in a while for joyous reunion. He prays hard that he will once again meet Umbra, so that he may impart some new lessons unto him. That's all I wrote.
I would like you to roll a d100.
Oh, jeez. Umbra comes back and kills me.
Or worse.
That is 85.
You do not meet Umbra again.
Never again.
Never.
Even as a ferryman.
Even as a ferryman, you do not meet Umbra. However, you might hear of him, and we'll get to that later.
Cool.
Now, as these tales continue forth, I ask, I'm going to start with you, Vaela. How does your character die?
So basically, she'll pretty much die as she lived, as a pirate protecting her crew. Chances are she fought something and it got the better of her. And she was killed sort of in the line of action. Sort of she kind of wants to hope that she left a sort of a legacy of being, a legendary pirate, So when people talk about Bloodbeard, they'll talk about her, go down as a sort of as a legend in the pirating world.
And you will make that legend, whether it be through murmurs and talks or through action itself, or perhaps the combination of the two. Captain Vaela will be whispered on the lips of children, talking about the mysterious amazement of killing gods and destroying monsters and defeating many a crew. The Crescent Moon Pirates will be down in history.
That name isn't going anywhere.
That name is not going
Still a
anywhere.
lawful name.
Better or worse, it is not going anywhere. And Alarias, I'm going to come back to you last because you were going to die last. So Tim, how do you die?
Kind of similarly dies as he lives out his retirement on Tortilla, unexpectedly surrounded by well-wishers and nature, which is nice. What have I got? Passed away happily on Tortilla, surrounded by nature, side by side with Nigel's enhanced skull. Lies on the beach and in his last moments watches little baby turtles scampering towards the seafront. Cycle begins anew. He welcomes death, assuming that he knows he's going to become a ferryman at that point.
He would.
Benjamin inherits his role as chief cleric and Joyleth's #1 fan. Don't know, little Tortle children scampering around, presuming some were found and brought to the island.
Yeah. If you mention, so like Merikal had a few tortles that you could convince to come to the island as well. And I think, as well as that, in that sun-setting moment, as the sun begins to set and the tiny turtles begin to scamper towards the beach, I think there is a final exhale from you as you look out and almost like imagine the camera kind of pans down to the skull of Nigel, and almost as your final exhale, I imagine the skull of Nigel kind of decays.
As does Tim. All that's left is his shell.
As does Tim, and just
the
crumbles into the wind. And as you
loincloth blows away in the wind, yeah.
Loincloth goes in the wind, and that's all you see in the horizon. The loincloth just floating
Yeah, the camera hangs on the loincloth, just floating, flittering through like the American Beauty plastic bag.
Yeah. And in that moment, there is an immediate as you find yourself standing in the astral sea, a chain, not heavy, but purposed, resting on your shoulder and hanging down over you, linked to a boat behind you, as you immediately know where to wander next, where to swim next, where to move next.
Isn't that nice?
Hmm.
He found his purpose. It's kind of nice.
Hmm. And speaking of which, like while you're doing that, Nigel is on your hip again, like always with you.
Nice.
Lovely. And in the afterlife, he'll probably talk to me now, right?
Yeah, he'll speak to you in the astral sea,
Good.
definitely. You can have
Lovely.
chats, all sorts.
He's still Cockney. Tim lost that immediately.
Yes, he would still be Cockney, definitely. And he would still have the stutter, too.
Yeah.
Alarias, how would you
Yeah,
like to die?
it's the oldest. I think I want something like heroic for Alarias. I think in some way, like being a self-sacrifice person, caring, sacrificing his life for the time we've becoming a timekeeper. Yeah, I'd want him to go out into some sort of big, proper magical duel, and to be remembered as someone who's puts others first, self-sacrifices, gives his life for others, and a very knowledgeable magical being. Yeah, and known as the illustrious Alarias.
The illustrious Alarias. As you gain that name, generally speaking, as a elven timekeeper, the illustrious Alarias, in your time you have met Aramil, spoken, discussed, taught him how to understand the time sigils themselves. One day he parts with you, saying that there are more universes to save and this one's in good hands. And you see him leave. Not long after that, there is a purplish portal that tears open in the space of the Timekeepers, not temple, but their sanctuary. A creature, a withering form, skeletal, decaying face, eyes, purplish glow, wearing these gold things, their rib cage open, no organs there, and this book stuck in their chest. They come in to the sanctuary and they begin killing timekeepers. You know in this sanctuary there is a pool of time, this tear in this space. You know it is the biggest one in this universe and it has the capability to tear the entire thing apart, or be used for much more nefarious means. In the battle of the Timekeepers, the illustrious Alarias and the Withering One, you are not victorious, but you do stop him from using the time pool for nefarious means by almost closing it and hiding it from this world altogether. You take what energy it has and you portal it away, far away, perhaps not even on this world, not even on this wild space, astral sea. You just try to get it away. You saw some of what Aramil did and you attempted the same, and in this respect, you have saved it. The last things that you hear are, "You may have saved us for now, but I will be back, and you will taste misery." And that you are, I think, at that stage, weakened to the point of a power word kill as your life has ended. The last things you see are the glowing eyes, slightly shriveled face. Your daughter's not in the sanctuary at this point. She's gone off to other things. But you know your actions means that this is no longer a place that they'll want to risk coming to, whatever their purpose. And that is how you meet your end.
Pretty badass.
Mm.
Cool fight. Saving the world again. Nice.
Now, Tim, as a ferryman, you begin to carry the dead to their afterlife.
Hmm.
You will carry many, many people. There is a time. You're not sure when. Your concept of time is middling, if not completely unknown to you. But a fair time after, far beyond this, there is a disease, a plague, and every single one has died from it.
Everyone,
Well, everyone on
full
flood.
stop.
Almost everyone on flood.
Okay, all right.
The entire populace decayed to death by this plague.
Maybe should have picked immortality, huh?
For yourself.
Well, I say everyone. Everyone you would say would be alive on flood, unless there's like maybe a small sect. It would bring the population down to, double digits of the
Right.
entire world kind of thing.
Woof.
Mm.
Yeah. It was brought by a ship, captained by a creature in a mask.
Oh no.
Mhm.
And you know this to be Umbra.
Yeah.
And that is the last hear of Umbra.
We could have stopped this.
The big bad.
God damn it all.
Well, I mean, your own time powers, you fix it.
God, he's dead.
I guess I'm probably dead, but yeah.
You gotta,
Fine
you
then.
gotta.
What
You would be dead at this point. Okay. And
There's no loopholes I can pull.
well, there is a gift of the gods, which Vaela and Alarias still need to decide what they choose.
Well, they've had the spoiler now.
Well, this is interesting because I already kind of
Yeah, they're
knew
dead,
what she
right?
would pick.
They have a death. If you're gifted immortality, you can still die. You just come back.
Because
Oh, what, you die and then come back?
Well, actually, no, that's not true technically, because immortality.
Usually
in
you can't
a
die
lot of
of-
things. You
Yeah.
either
Can't
can't
die of
die,
natural means.
or you just have the longevity of immortality, and you can technically die. In my mind, it was the longevity of immortality, but you can actually die.
Yeah.
But I
Okay,
can always boot him back into the realm of the living, right? If I'm in the right place at the right time.
Make a deal.
True.
Yeah, PC's
because
my
like
body.
Vaela, to keep up the life that she was gonna lead, would have picked immortality. Anyway. Because when you were going through the list, it's like, yeah, like she doesn't care about the knowledge or where she ends up, because she'll just see it as a loophole of, well, if I'm immortal, then it doesn't matter. You know.
Then I think Vaela's
But then it
death.
doesn't end really her death, because her death will be the same.
Yeah, I think her death, choosing immortality, her death would be probably in killing, I would imagine, Umbra. If you've chosen immortality, that's the next biggest threat that comes to Flood. So you would live
Yeah.
long enough to that
She,
point.
she would definitely, if she is around and she knows it's Umbra and all the devastation he's causing, she would definitely take it on herself.
So
to
I
be
think
like,
you would
you
be
know,
the reason that anyone survives on Flood. You would be the reason there's at least double digits.
yeah, because she would definitely see it as her responsibility to deal with Umbra. You know, even after all that time and obviously having completely different crew and everything else, yeah, she would definitely be like, I need to solve this. I need to sort this. God knows what level she is at this point, but she would definitely see it in her means to, yeah, go sort Umbra out.
Yeah, so you would seek out Umbra and his ship called the Plaguefall. I have to give Matt credit for this name. And as you seek out Umbra and the Plaguefall, there is a great battle between the two of you. And it seems that Umbra is not alone, and he has gained monstrous necromantic powers since.
Of course. Yeah.
But you do defeat him, and you do die in the aspect. Now, I'm happy to be outvoted here, but in my personal opinion, I feel like immortality is the longevity of life, rather than you cannot die at all. But happy to have that. If you'd rather the death and then you came back, I'm happy to agree with that. Or the fact that you cannot die is the reason you can defeat him. That's also viable if you'd like to go with that.
Yeah, it's tricky because it's like because if we're talking about defeating Umbra, she would have to have a means of surviving against the plague. So like you almost need to be able to withstand it, right? Because otherwise, because Umbra's not going to just allow someone to go up, because Umbra's scheming like that, right? He would make sure he's surrounded by something that won't affect him, because obviously this is Umbra.
Yep.
But will protect him. So like she'll have to have something to...
Well, I see immortality as like you wouldn't come down to diseases, you wouldn't be able to be poisoned. Like generally speaking, all the regular things of like natural
but
death
someone like
would not affect you. It's stabbing, it's cutting your head off, it's burning you. It's that kind of thing that would be required to kill you.
Yeah, then I'm okay with that then. I don't think she needs to be impervious. Like she's not.
If it's a weaponized plague, you might have trouble getting around it, but I'd imagine you'd deal with that at the time, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, the thing is, it's like one of those things, right? As soon as she finds out that Umbra's back, you know, and he's infecting and killing millions or whatever, like she would just beeline, you know, straight there into sort it out. She's not going to let it wait. But obviously, by this point, it's spread, right? So
yeah,
by the time she actually gets to him and defeats him, that's just going to be just how much left.
You're
But
solo
as soon as she knows about it,
like none of your crew.
well, she would have a... Yeah, well, I mean, she'll probably take the crew that she has to get as far as they can.
Yeah, they might gas masks.
To an extent, to an extent, but I mean, it depends on what this stuff is, right? If it melts your skin, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, she would use the crew that she has to get as close as possible, and then, solo the rest of it, basically. But again, like I don't know what the level ups look like for her, but like, I mean, she'll be able to fly and do all sorts of.
Oh yeah, you'll be.
You know, she'll be at least
level
stronger.
20-ish. You won't be like, I'm not saying you're like a level 20 god or anything, but you'll definitely be stronger at that point as well.
Yeah.
And Alarias, when you face the Withering One, you will be a lot more powerful.
You know what she'd actually do? She's probably still got the memory potion. She'll use that to anchor herself so someone can teleport her to Umbra.
Oh, actually, that would be genius, yeah. If you still had the memory potion, that would work.
She would never sell it because she's like so worried that she might need it for herself, you know. So she would at least have saved it for as long as possible. So yeah, she would still definitely at least have one. And yeah, she could use that to teleport to Umbra, so that, you know, and that those 40 odd people could be her crew.
Yeah. So that is how you die. That is how Alarias dies. That is how Tim dies. And that is the events that you're all kind of aware of afterwards. And then we zoom out of the iris of Alarias sitting down with tea with his crew, chatting about the future events that he knows is going to happen, as you discuss what he sees and what he hasn't seen. That is where we will end this campaign, with all of you sitting down as friends, chatting about the stories yet to come.
Almost everyone.
Oh yeah.
You're watching, right?
From hell.
It's got a little portal from
Looking
else.
through the window.
Always watching.
Always watching.
Nice.
yeah, I guess before we do go, like, if there's anything else you guys want to add or any like little tidbits.
Alarias would have taken the knowledge. He would have taken the immortality. He didn't want to see his daughter die.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm.
he was never his wife, and she passed, and he'd want to go before his daughter. Yeah.
We know what Tim picked. Tim went for Baron, so that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, cool. And I guess next time, not Pirate Adventures, but in fact the Q&A. So let's sit down, have a chat. You guys can ask me a bunch of questions about everything you missed, or everything you want to understand more about. And there is plenty.
Oh yeah.
So let's find out next time. That's the end.